We're already 10 minutes late. We cannot wait any longer. Now we'll start with some questions. What is cardinality? What is cardinality? What is your understanding? We discussed about the types of relationship. What is cardinality? Type it in the chat window, no? It's a right or wrong. You just type it, whatever. Cardinality is the relationship. So there are two meanings are there when it comes to cardinality. In the case of relational database management system, cardinality refers to relationship. Okay, and also when it comes to the development, SQL development, and all, so really the cardinality is kind of the uniqueness. How many unique values are there in a column? So, but when it comes to Power BI, it right. So it refers to the number of rows from one table to another table, that are related to another table. Or we just say this way: the relationship coordinator refers to the relationship. Coordinator is in simple term, it's a relationship. That's all. No more confusion. So, okay, the next one is the next question is something like this. So, what are the types of relationship? If they ask you, this is the question: one to one, one to many to many, and many to one. Right? These are the types of relationship we discussed already. What is it called when multiple records in one table or associated with multiple records in another table? What is it? We discussed it, right? As part of the types of relationship. Is it called one to many or many to one? I just give you the clue. See, attending a regular session, being punctual and all, it's, it's a passive, right? So, yeah, the outdated term, I'm punctual, I'm regularly attending, that doesn't matter. Okay. And how well are you putting the efforts? Some people, they don't attend the session, but they watch the videos regularly. Multiple records in one table are shared with multiple records in another table. Okay, Satya, good. You answered it correctly. So the many to many relationship, right? This is called many to many. Very good. Okay, give me an example for many to many relationship. Satya, I'll ask you this question. Give me one or two examples. In the interview, they'll ask you like this. Give me one or two, not one example. They will find out easily. If you specify a 4-year experience, I just pass it. Satya, just give me an example. One employee having multiple projects. Okay, is this many to many relationship? One employee having multiple. Yeah, yeah, in employees. Okay, what you're trying to say is an employee is working in multiple projects. Very good. But this is one to many, right? A single employee is working on more than this is an employee is one and is working on more than one project. Okay, this is one to many. How do you say it is many to many? Sakshi, what is many to many? Give me an example. You are near close, Satya. One employee is working in more than one project, and each project can have more than one employee. You have a table called employee, you have a table called project, right? So each employee can work on more than one project. A single project can have multiple employees. In software company, you see that they say supply chain analytics, 50 employees will be working on it. A single project, 50 employees are working here. Some cases, as a specific employer, a few employees, they are working on more than one project. Supply chain analytics and retail analytics, finance analytics, something like that. They work on more than one project. This is a classic example for one to many. Many product has many customers. What do you mean by many product has many customers? Oh, purchased by, right? Yeah. So a single product can be purchased by more than one customer. Very good. A single product can be purchased by more than one customer. Each customer can purchase more than one product also. Product can be purchased by many customers, and each customer can buy more than one product also. Very good example. Very good, Shakshi. Good. So how about others, right? Likewise, they'll ask questions, guys. It's not that okay, what is it called many-to-many relationship? Multiple records in one table or associated multiple records in another table. The like Sakshi mentioned here, many products, right? Product table, and customers table. In your table, right, you have multiple records are there, right, that are associated with multiple records in another table. A single customer can have single customer would have purchased more than one product and vice versa. That is what your one to many. So when you see this one, multiple records in one table or multiple records in another table, then it is many to many relationship. Just remember that way. And the next one is the direction of the relationship. What is the direction of the relationship? So you have unidirection and bidirectional relationship. When I arranged an interview with Deloitte, they asked this question with my student. So this is these are the tables. Okay. And here I simply loaded the table. Look here. I didn't do anything. All these tables, files are available in my dataset. I just simply loaded it. Location, dim product, and sales W04, sales fact, all these things, funnel chart data. You forget about funnel chart data. I just remove this. I'll just show you. I get data and then go to Excel file. Here you will find something like dim location. In my thing, it's already available in my site also. And in dim category, yeah, Murugan, I will talk to you about the access everything. Murugan and Prem Kumar. Prem Kumar did not join. Dim category and customers and location. These are the files that are available. I just simply clicked on it and it got loaded here. Okay, here the customer. Okay, I will load the customer dimension also. Since the column header is not defined properly, transform ribbon and use first row as headers. Click on it. This is your customer ID and customer name. Okay, now, okay, forget about this one. Okay, I have loaded a customer table. Forget about all the transformation. Okay, I just say dim customer dimension. File, close and apply. I just simply loaded these four data files. The moment when I loaded, look here, just now I loaded the dim customer table. Automatically, it created the relationship between sales fact and dim customer table. Look at the link. This is called your link. Okay. Now what I do is I just arrange it properly. I just move the fact table down here, and these are my dimension tables. I just move all the dimension tables just above this fact table, and okay, here, yeah, sales W04. Let it be there. Okay. And dim customer. And dim customer also, I move it something like this. If you look at this, this is called your relationship. Okay. And the lines are flowing from your dimension, all the dimension table down to your fact table. The fact table is your transaction table. These are like your these are your dimension table. Okay. We discussed about the star schema. Forget about the sales W04 at this moment. What is star schema? How many of you remember star schema? Sakshi, you should be knowing it. And Satya, what is star schema? Why don't you type it in the chat window? The dimension table, the fact tables, the dimension table, which are the fact tables, which are, which is surrounded by dimension tables, called your star schema. Okay. So here, what exactly dimension table is all about? The dimension table gives the descriptive information about your fact table. If you see the fact table here, you will have the key column. Look here, if I, product ID, both the table, if I just move this up, and if I keep the cursor, which means when I hover the cursor on top of this line, in both the table and the dim product and sales fact, you can see product ID. These two columns got linked. Okay, that means the common column between these two tables is product ID. With this, we are able to create the relationship between these two tables. And then when I hover the cursor here, dim location, right? So the location key and location key, these two columns are common between these two tables. Power BI has a capability to automatically detect the relationship between the tables or the tables, and then it creates the relationship automatically. It automatically detected and created the relationship the moment when I loaded. So how is it possible? Like I said in the last session, when you load the customer ID, for example, customer dimension table, I first loaded the sales fact table, and then next one is the customer dimension. I loaded it here. When you hover the cursor, look here, the custody, these two columns are common between these two tables. The moment, let's say first I loaded the sales fact table into the Power BI desktop. Next one is dimension customer. I loaded it here. Okay, so what happens is Power BI desktop, it checks, are there any columns that are having the similar name? Any common column, custody. So it creates the relationship. And while creating it, it has some comments. It checks, whether the custody in this table are unique. Yes, each customer will have the, like in an office, right? Each employee have unique employee ID. Similarly, the customer ID also, it will have a unique ID for each customer. There will not be any duplicate. Right? For each customer, it will have a unique customer ID. Hence, it puts one here, right? So this is the one side. The star is many side. A single customer would have ordered, more than one product or more. You would have raised multiple orders, right? More than one order. That is what it says. As per this data set, each customer, at least, right, they ordered one order. They made one order. They raised one order. Got it. So it automatically creates. This is one. That means, each customer have unique ID, right? It will not have the duplicate. Whereas here the customer ID, will appear more than once. The invoice, right? If you see morning 10 o'clock, before you, let's say morning by 9 a.m. before you go to office, you go and purchase something. After office, while you come back, right? Same shop, you go and buy it. The same customer ID, but multiple, transactions happen. Multiple invoices generated. One to many, and product, and one to many, and all the dimension tables, key columns are, linked with the fact tables key columns. Fact table will have the combination of the key columns, location key, customer ID, and the date key. Let me just keep date, right? Date and order date have the relationship here, and it creates the relationship automatically. And if you see the arrow here, unidirectional, the keys are flowing from the dimension table to fact table. That is what, forget about this one, okay, at this moment, or else I will just move this somewhere aside. Okay, you just think, it is not at all there. Okay, so we have four dimension table, one fact table. This is what we can see, that this arrow indicates in which direction the filtering will occur. The one side, the one indicates the customer table has the one side of the relationship. This means the key from one side of the relationship is always unique in this table. And this is your many side, the star. Okay. So, okay, is there any way can I create this or can I modify the relationship? Yes, you can, or you can also create the relationship. Supposing in the customer dimension table, instead of custody, you have something like customer space ID. But whereas here you have custody is there, it will not detect automatically because the column names are not same. Okay, in that kind of situation, how you need to create the relationship. There are two ways you can create a relationship. For example, I'll show you how to create the relationship. So we know very well the customer space ID is nothing but the customer cust ID in my fact table. Okay. So in that case, you just simply drag and drop this column exactly on top of this column. And to make sure that whether the relationship got created between these two tables using the cust ID, keep the cursor on top of this line. These two tables columns will get highlighted. Yes, this is one way of creating the relationship between the tables manually. Is there any other alternative way that I can create the relationship between the tables? Yes, it is possible. Manage the relationship. This is another option. Just click on it and click on new here and click on the so the dim customer, and then which table we want to link this one with my sales fact table. Okay, look here, even in this case, it automatically does it. So in this case, right, you need to select the common column between these two. Customer ID and customer ID. Selected it. But by default, it selects, automatically detects. Supposing you have customer space ID, right? That is what I'm explaining now. You have customer space ID, but since there are no column available in this table with that naming convention, it will not detect. Okay, you need to select the customer space ID and custody here. Here it is, thank God, it is there with the proper naming convention. Then it is good. Okay, or else. So this is another way of creating it, and I just click on OK. The moment when I clicked on OK, and if I close this one, look here, it will take some time to create the relationship. Look here, something is going on. Look here, it got created. Okay, got it. So this the use manage relationship. You can create the relationship between the tables, or simply you drag and drop the columns, drag the column and drop it on the similar column name. Okay, the relevant column name. Only then the relationship will get created correctly. Okay, so the next one is I just open this one. When you double click on this, supposing you have mistakenly created, for example, instead of creating the relationship between custody and custody, let's say while dragging and dropping it, mistakenly put it on top of location key. And when you keep the cursor over, you realize, oh man, I made a mistake. Instead of dropping the custody on the custody column on top of this, I mistakenly did this. How do I change this? Just select this relationship. It will become the yellow colored one and double click on it. It will open the manage a relationship dialog box. Here you can see the location key in your sales fact table and dim customer. These two columns got selected wrongly. Okay, here ideally custody should have been selected. You select this and select this, click on OK, it will get created. And if you notice here, you will find something called cardinality. You have something called cardinality, many to one. It tells us by default when you select the relevant columns between these two tables. In this case, custody and custody, by default, the cardinality shows us one to many relation. This is what I asked. What is cardinality? Cardinality is nothing but the relationship, the type of the relationship, or the type of many to one. And if you click on this drop down here, you can see one to one, one to many to many. Okay, by default, right, it automatically recognizes. Okay, when you select this, it automatically select this value, many to one. And the cross filter direction, this is one of the interview questions. When I arranged with the Wipro, they asked this question: this cross filter direction, what options are available in cross filter direction? She was literally bluffing. Okay, and she was in fact, right. Everything is important. Cross filtration, you have single and both. Okay, single is by default single. Okay, many to one relationship. So the reason is it's a single direction. The cross filter direction is single because the arrow is pointing towards the fact table. If you see the arrow in all these four dimension table, it is flowing from your dimension table to fact table. Okay. Okay. If I want to change the cross filter direction to both, yes, it is possible. You can select it here, both. Okay, apply security filter in both directions. So you don't have to select. Look here. Now the arrow, you can see down arrow, up arrow. That means the customer table can filter fact table, and the opposite is also possible, right? The bi-direction relationship. Okay, and okay, I don't. I will discuss about this little later. What exactly the cross filter direction is all about. In a little while, I will discuss it. See, the single is one-to-many propagation, the cross-filter direction. The both is filter context propagates in both ways. But if I enable the relationship, the cross-filter direction is both, it will cause performance-related issues. So in that case, the customer table filters the sales fact table, and sales fact table also filters the customer table. Guys, can you tell me what is filter? What is happening filter? I just unmute you all. Let's make it very interactive so that the moment, after you attend the interview, this training program, you should be able to take up the interview upfront. Okay, and you tell me what is the filter. See, now if I, let's say here I just the relationship got created automatically between product table and sales fact table. So what is happening here? Can you tell me what is happening here when I do this one? So what is happening here is the product table now can filter the fact table because the arrow is flowing down here. The product table can filter the fact table. Okay, but can a fact table filter a product table? It is not possible. Similarly here, can a customer dimension can filter the fact table? Yes, because earlier it was unidirection. I have just selected the cross filter direction as both. Now the fact table can filter my customer dimension table. Both way you can do it. Okay, but this is not the recommended approach. It will cause serious performance related issues if you enable bidirectional relationship. But we have some other alternative approaches are available to enable the cross filter direction. It is bidirectional relation. It is what we are seeing, what we have seen so far is unidirectional, but bidirectional. Customer table can filter fact table can filter customer table. What exactly filter? I explained you the filter. How many of you remember it? This is what filter. This is my country dimension table, sales dimension table. Once you create the relationship, let's say in this case one to many, what happens is it goes to the first record and then it goes and filter the corresponding records in this many side. And then what happens, supposing you want to perform country wise total sales, you group all the United States records and then you apply the sum on this one 2500 plus 1000, all these values. It gives you the total sales in US. But in order to give the total sales, it has to group all the US related records. How is it possible? Because of the filter. The country dimension table propagates this value, which means it sends this value to this table and then it goes and looks where and all US is the red color highlighted, right? And then the next step is once it has been done, right? It groups the records and then it computes the sales value. Next, Australia table, Australia record. And when you, in this case, what happens? It skips to the next record and then it goes and filters the records in this table and then it applies the sum on the sales table, sales column. So Australia, how much sales we made. And similarly, let's say you have a product table sale. This is what filter. So in this case, what happens is it filters this table, but in the case of unidirection, but sales table cannot filter the country dimension table. In order for the sales table to filter this one, you need to enable cross filter in a bi-direction relationship. So how do you do that? Cross filter direction, both option, you need to enable it here. So now the next question is, why should I enable both? Why should I use my fact table to filter the customer table? Supposing you have a requirement in the customer table, each customer, how much amount they spent so far, the total sales amount value needs to be updated. So in that case, you just think this is a customer table and sales table, right? So this customer, how much is, when you need to sum this value and this value you need to update it here. So customer, ID and customer name, total transaction, how much he made so far. So with this, you can come up with some customer loyalty program, something like that, right? With that, you can give some special offer to the potential loyal customers. Okay, so for that purpose, you need to do the bi-directional thing also. Okay, and for example, you have the product dimension here. Product dimension. I'm talking about the cross filter direction. Okay, and in this case, are there any relationship exists between product and customer dimension table? No, right? I just make it single here, the cross filter direction single, and product dimension, customer dimension, right? And here, can the product dimension table filter my? No, it is not possible. But product dimension can filter my sales fact table. You remember this filter means this is what is happening. Okay, the product dimension is filtering this one and customer dimension is filtering this one. But if I want, is it possible for me to use my product dimension table to filter my customer dimension table? It is not possible because there is no direct relationship exists between these two tables. But I have a requirement. Somebody is asking you, I wanted to know how many number of customers purchased so and so product. They wanted to know that. So in that case, you need to, they want the customer name. Not the customer name. Yeah, each product name, and the total, or let's say, the product name, each product, how many number of customers purchased. How do I do that? Is it possible to do? Because, we don't have direct relationship between these two. I want to use my product table to filter my customer dimension. In that case, what I do is I just enable cross filter direction here, both. So what will happen is my product dimension table can filter sales fact table. Sales fact table can filter my customer dimension table. I'll just give you one simple analogy. Attend it regularly or watch my videos continuously. Okay. So that is what is happening. You understood with that simple analogy. So now product table can filter my dim customer. We'll start with simple example so that you should be able to understand. What I will do is I'll just click on the matrix and you just select the, okay, here I was talking about product and customer, right? So and product and product name and the, where is that fact table? Product name seems to be very high. Okay, the next one is how many products are there? Okay, thank God. We have less number of products. Very good. And here we wanted to see how many number of. Okay, we wanted to see this one, right? How many number of products purchased, and we want to see in each product purchased by how many number of customers. How can I do that? Here, what I can do is fact table. We can drag and drop the quantity here. Okay, and quantity. And in this case, if you click on this down arrow here, you see the sum here. So in total, 150 units we sold in cashew nut, 4 units we sold in coffee, and 29 units we sold in dry grapes. Fine. Now the point is, each product is purchased by how many number of customers? See, in total we sold this one, right? So how do we say this one? How can we tell this one? Satya, you tell me, how can you do that? So basically, your manager wants to know, or the American customer, right? He is demanding you to do this one. So each product is purchased by how many number of customers. What can you do here? And what we can do is we have something called customer ID. Or I will make it a table instead of matrix, right? I will make it a table. And the customer ID, what you can do is you can use count here. Can you see that? Cashew nut was purchased by 14 customers. And coffee was purchased by 2 customers. And dry grapes was purchased. I just, increase the font size. So this is what we can see it, right? So we can get it from here, count of customer ID. Okay, is there any other way I can do it the same thing? So what I can do is I can probably use my dimension table customer here. I just put it here, and here this customer ID is coming from which table? From the dimension customer. How do I know? Here two customer ID columns are there. If you keep the cursor on top of this, you will get to know that. See, this one comes from customer dimension. This one comes from sales fact. Okay, here what I do is I just select count here. It shows 3222, right? So the count of customer ID 322. And what I will do is, okay, we will take the cashew net. Cashew net, what is the ID? Product ID. We need the product ID. Product ID. I just drag and drop it here. P004, right? P004. I just select my sales fact table and product ID P004, right? We just select P004. We have how many records are there? If you see here at the bottom, 14 filtered rows are there. And here we can see that cashew net 14 records are there, right? 14 records are there. That means 14 times. But customer ID, if you see the count of customer ID from this table, it shows only 3. Okay. Here, okay. But if you see here, the customer, different customers, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 product, 14 records are there, or 14 transactions happen for this cashew net product, but different customers, they purchased it, right? Here it shows C004 3 times, and it shows that one, right? And again, if you see this cashew nut here, the cashew net, it shows 3 here, C004 and C004. If you see 4 customers, right? And okay, I just select C004 out of this. 3 different customers purchased 14 times. Now C004 alone, you see here 8 records are there. I just click on the clear filter. I just go here and click on clear filter. Now all the records are coming up here. Just go here. It shows this one, right? But the point here is each product is purchased by how many number of products? It shows 3, but we are, as we have seen in CashewNet, different customers, they purchase it, right? It is not giving the correct information. Which one? This one. This is not much helpful. I just remove this one. Even this one is also not doing the good job, right? So when I use the count here, yeah, when I use the count here, now it shows 111. It repeats the value. So this one comes from product dimension. This one comes from my customer dimension. Since there is no relationship exists directly between these two tables, the product table is not able to filter the customer dimension table. Okay, okay. 1 second. Let me just count of customer ID comes from there. Yeah, okay. So here the product ID is also not coming out correctly here, right? So the product dimension, the count of product ID, yeah, it shows only one product. Okay, okay. Here it shows correctly 1, but the count of customer ID is not showing the correct value, right? What I do is I just go here. Oh, you already enabled the bidirectional. That is why it is doing the filtering. Okay, both. Okay, it is somehow it is doing okay. Okay, and product dimension to my customer dimension. You want to see how many number of customers they purchased in total. Product ID, I just remove it. Cashew nut and coffee and 4. Okay, here instead of count, if I use sum, let's see what happens. We wanted to, but here it is not giving sum here, right? The customer ID, we cannot do sum here. And here, okay, I just use the customer name here as it is. Okay. Basically, we wanted to see how many number of transactions happen here. The count. Count only you can use it. Yes, it is doing correctly here, but we need to validate this. In quantity is 150 quantity, but customer ID, this customer purchased 3 times here, and we will go and validate here. So the customer ID, okay, here, cashew nut is, okay, what is the product ID for the cashew nut? Sorry, I lost track here while talking. P004. And for example, we'll take the simple one. Coffee is P001, right? I just go and select P001 here. Here we have two records are there. Two different customers, they purchased it, right? It shows correctly. And cashew net is P004. Why it is showing something different? I just P004. It shows almost 14 records, right? 14 customer purchased it here. Okay, because I'm using count here. I'm not using sum here. But sum also will, we cannot use sum here because there is no point in doing sum here. It can, because it's the text data type. And in this case, P004, location key. Okay, we have other relationship also, right? Location key and dim date. Okay, here C004. Okay, let me just go back here and check P008. P008, I just clear the filter. Here we have 5 records are there, right? So P008, it shows only two. Count of customer ID, it shows only 2. Okay, what I will do is I just remove the quantity and 3, 2 and product ID. Now we wanted to do a filtering here. There is some data issue here. Okay, somewhere it is not doing the link correctly. Otherwise, it should show how many number of products, how many number of customers they purchased a cashew nut. Okay, what I will do is I just take the customer name here. The opposite we will do here. Okay, and here product ID comes where dim product. And the customer name. Okay, and count of, okay. First, what I will do is I want to have the customer name here. And then here count of customer ID, I don't need it. Count of product ID. It is not doing the filter here. Okay, because this is the one coming from the customer table. This is the one coming from product table, dimension table. Now I need to enable the bidirectional relationship between these two. Now it is showing correctly, right? Chris has purchased 8 products. I just go here. What is Chris's customer ID? C02. C02 purchased how many number of, 1 second, let me just. Okay, I got the reason why, we are not getting it there. I'll explain you a little later. So here, the Chris is C002. C002. We can see that 6 distinct values are there for customer ID, right? Here, Chris is 8 products. It shows only 8 products. And here we have the product ID. Okay, let me do one thing here. Better I take this product ID. Yeah, this is the one, it shows correctly. Okay, count of product ID from, okay, I remove this one. Count of product ID. Okay, Chris is showing 25, and here 25 records filtered. Okay, and now the customer table can filter the product table because of the bidirectional relationship exists between these two. Okay, and for example, if I go here, right, Hemal is C005. I just clear the filter. 22 records. So ML 22. Okay. And John is 8. Each customer, how many number of products they purchased it. And if you see here, this product is coming from this table only. Actually, you need to take it from here only. The customer ID comes from my customer dimension table, and customer name is also coming from this one. But here what happens is the customer table supposed to filter the sales fact table. Okay, fine. And whereas here the count of sales product ID in customer name, right? Okay, okay. So now because of these two bidirectional relationship, now I am able to do this one, right? I'm able to get this value. I have another classic example for the cross filter direction, which we will see it little later. Okay, but keep that in mind. The cross filter direction will degrade your performance, sales performance. It will slow down the performance. What will happen is, since this table can filter this one and this table, see if you have billions of records here, and what will happen if you enable this by cross filter direction both permanently, it can leads to, right, it can go and filter it here also. So 1 billion records, when it tries to filter this table, what will happen, it will take a lot of time. Hence, you're not supposed to enable this permanently like this. We have something called DAX function, something like cross filter function, using which we can temporarily enable it. Let's, for example, you want to do some kind of count or sum, right? So we can perform the count or sum uh, by enabling the bidirectional relationship. Till that computation is over, we can enable it. Okay, so that is another option. It might be confusing, guys. Don't worry. I will show you with some examples so that you should be able to understand. This is cross filter direction. Next one is active and inactive relationship. We have something. Next one. The next topic is active and inactive relationship. This active and inactive relationship, I just